What can I tell you about Mr. Turner? This is a film that concentrates on the last 25 years of J.M.W. Turner's life, one of Britain's really finest artistic geniuses. And if you didn't know anything about J.M.W. Turner, you looked at his work, you'd make the assumption that he would be like a character like Franz Liszt, like beautiful long black hair, cape flowing in the wind and women hanging off him. But in fact he wasn't. He was like a small ape-like man that communicated through quite a very gruff manner. He was working class. He grew up. That'll be him telling me I've got it all completely wrong. Yeah. No, it's James W. Turner from the grave. No, you're talking bullshit. 33 years he's been tolerating me, and the same amount of years that my wife's been tolerating me. I met my wife, and then the month after I met Mike Lee, and we've both been together ever since. I see a little bit more of my wife, though. I mean, and when you get to actually shoot the scenes, the scene is completely structured and it's dialogue, but the dialogue is arrived at through the rehearsal process and through, in this case, because we're dealing with a character that existed, we're dealing with his technique is by use of improvisation, creating characters from ground zero, tend to be based on human beings that and then they become their own character, and then in the meanwhile you're researching the real character, and then eventually bring the two together, and hopefully they fit like a sort of foot in a shoe, and then blend, and so that's what you try and do. Obviously in this case this meant carrying around, I was like the school SWAT carrying around 20 books, because this guy was not only an artist and a very unusual man, he was also an expert on Greek mythology, architecture. All his friends were people that will all be Nobel Prize winners now. They were the people he knocked about with were like the great and good of the time. So to be able to improvise and build this stuff, you had to know what you were talking about. So I was knowledge heavy by the end of it. I've been around. I'm not a kid anymore. I've been around a long, long time. But I have to say, I'm absolutely delighted. I mean, because when you work so closely and collaboratively on a thing, it feels like you're creating it in a parallel universe, and it's like you're creating something that didn't exist, and all of a sudden you have to show it. And there was one particular day in Cannes when we were sitting after the first morning of junketing, and I sat down. Everybody was quiet. The phone rang, and it was my son Rafe, and he said, "I'm just reading the Guardian." Blah blah. I said, "Is it Rave?" He said, "I've got the Telegraph here." He read it again. "Another Rave?" He said, "I've got the, what did he say? I've got the Independent here. Love letter." So it was like, everybody was going, "Oh my God," we could all breathe out, and, I've had my fair amount of kicks in the arse, so it's so nice to get a bit of a stroke every now. And also, what is wonderful is that this means a hell of a lot to me, and it means a hell of a lot to everybody in it, because it's like, when you work with Mike, he gives you authorship and ownership of your part, and it's a long-term collaboration. And I do occasion, every 5 years I play the lead in something, and to play in the lead with the person that I respect the most as a collaborator in the world, and end up it being something that meets with people and experts' approval, is a joy. So saying I'm a little bit wary, it's just I don't quite believe it.